So I think we're ready to get started. A few minutes late, and I'm sure there'll be people straggling in, but welcome to the session right after lunch. And given that this, Heather and I were talking about this, and given that this conference theme is who's at stake, what's at stake, and this particular session is the stakeholder session, we figured we might as well touch on some of those, who those potential stakeholders are outside of the typical publishers and researchers. And let's talk about some of the instructors and how they use course content, and let's talk maybe about how the use of librarians in this process comes into play as well. So we've assembled a panel here with instructors as well as SIPCs to kind of review some of the challenges and issues out there. And as background, what we want to do is talk to everybody and ask them how they review traditional course readers and how those have changed. How do instructors choose readings? Where does one even start given the huge amount of influx of information and sources you can get content out there? And what's their process? Do they think outside the box, and whether there are possible ways that we wouldn't think of that they have in going about this overall process? So let me introduce the panelists. First, we have Mary Susan Potts-Santone from Northeastern University. She's an associate academic specialist in the Department of Biology, where her primary responsibilities are teaching and advising undergraduates. Her current research interests are in moth biology and citizen science, very relevant to the keynote this morning for those of you who saw that. And as part of her citizen science initiative, she's an active contributor to the Discover Life online interactive encyclopedia. Dr. Potts-Santone academic degrees include a PhD in zoology from the University of New Hampshire and a Bachelor of Arts in Biochemistry from Suffolk University. A second speaker will be Neil Lerner from Northeastern University, where he is an associate professor of English and director of writing in the disciplines at Northeastern University, as I just mentioned. His book, The Idea of Writing Laboratory, won the 2011 NCTE David H. Russell Awards for Distinguished Research in the Teaching of English. He is also the co-author of Learning to Communicate as a Scientist and Engineer, Case Studies from MIT, winner of the 2012 CCCC Advancement of Knowledge Award and the Longham Guide to Peer Tutoring. Our third speaker is Gary Jones, and he's from the American International College. Gary is an assistant professor of history there, which is located in Springfield, Massachusetts. His area of expertise is the Gilded Age Progressive Era, labor history. Gary has a BA from the University of Kent at Canterbury and Master's and PhD from Lehigh University. And finally, Franny Lee is Vice President of Business Development and co-founder of SIPCs. Franny is a lawyer in both the United States and Canada, litigating digital rights and internet questions in the entertainment, media, and communications industry, as well as in government agencies on copyright and collective proceedings. She served as a resident fellow for the Stanford Center for Legal Informatics, focusing on using technology to improve copyright landscape and driving the research that led to the creation of SIPCs. So without further ado, let me have our first speaker here.